It's like this little dirty little bass line.
I don't fucking care. Can we move on to a new segment, please?
Welcome to Just Two Fans, a sports show about sports,
Obviously.
about life,
Because sports are life.
and about just whatever the hell we feel like talking about. So, let's go.
Is up, everybody.
What's good?
I'm Jay Friedlander. That's Eli Johnson and super producer Cam. Say hi, Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
And if you are in our stream, say hi, viewer.
Hi, viewer.
Yeah. Hi, viewer.
Love that for
Check.
us.
It's me and you guys. So
Nice.
we're
I'm not
crushing
in
it.
yet. I'm not even there.
So it's me
I'm
and the stream. I'm in here twice.
Killing it.
Look at us. Look at us.
This is what happens when we move to a Thursday randomly.
I
Move to
know,
a
right?
Thursday and we start late at night. And
Yeah,
our
it
target
is what it
audience is, our age with kids.
Well, our target audience right now is watching the game that is on currently instead of listening to our
I'd
gams
argue-
flapping.
Our most receptive audience is in Europe and they are asleep. So they'll see us in the morning.
Fair. It's valid. I don't know about you guys, but it has been a week for me. So
Mhm.
we're kind of shooting from the hip this
We're
episode.
just fucking pew-pew from the
We're
hip,
just gonna
baby.
do it. So I don't even know
Fuck
what's
it, we'll do
happening
it live.
in life. Yeah, because that's pretty. Yeah, exactly. Cameron, there's a race this weekend. Apparently, tell us. about it.
There is a Formula One race this weekend. That's all I got.
Who do you got winning?
We'll send out Lando.
Hi, baby. Still Lando.
It's Azerbaijan. It's at Baku. It's one of my favorite circuits to watch. It's really fast. A lot of technical corners, especially with all the drama after the last race on should they have swapped, shouldn't they have swapped. And Lando pretty much coming out saying Oscar doesn't need to hand me wins. He was better, and kind of putting Twitter people to silence because he's got a lot of white knights that'll pick up his banner, and he knows that he wasn't the best driver that day, so he's fine with it. I'm just excited.
Anytime I hear Baku, I think, why does everybody want to go to Baku?
Yeah, I
Jacqueline.
Yep.
Star Wars. Everybody gets it. Everyone gets it.
So
Definitely not everybody, but most of our audience does.
Yeah.
or they've just accepted Eli's eccentricities. It's my vocabulary word of the day. You're watching him right now. You're probably hearing him too.
Yeah.
Maybe
There's
hearing
like
him.
somebody listening and be like, what the fuck is that popping noise?
That was Eli's finger guns.
that was finger guns, baby. I bring them back.
Well, it's
They
late
never
at
went away
night.
from me.
It's late at night, so they're finger pop guns. Nothing too serious, but still.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
playful.
don't want to scare the neighbors,
Yeah, I can't wake up the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited. Good race. It's early. It's 4 a.m. Pacific. Gotta drag myself out of bed and watch it.
I can tell you what I won't be doing.
Watching that.
Watching that live.
Yeah.
Nope.
I
I'll
don't.
be
I'm
watching
gonna be like
later.
on my 6th day in a row solo parenting and trying to do my job and everything. Just not happening at 5 a.m. It'll happen at 6:30, so not that much later.
Yeah. You could probably start the race before it ends.
That's probably true.
But I think one thing that's interesting is the past few races we haven't had a lot of stoppage. Like there hasn't been a lot of yellow flags or safety cars.
That's true.
And this racetrack can do that with some of the chicanes and some of the weird corners. So we'll just kind of see who gets out alive. But I wouldn't be surprised if this late in the season, with some of the upgrades we've seen, that a lot of these drivers are driving really technical. But we do have, a new driver over at Williams who didn't have a great outing 2 weeks ago. So in practice, I mean, you think he finished 12th, so not terrible, but we'll kind of see how this track catches people after a week off. And we are all listener watching Arizona State Texas State game, so
That was what that was.
yeah.
I don't know what that celebration was.
Just flashing the abs, man.
That's one of two things it could have been. In Florida, that's described as self-defense as well.
I have
coming right for me.
Anyway. Love football. Don't love stupid celebrations.
How do you guys? So just while we're here, the 2-minute warning is about to come up, or 2-minute timeout.
Stupid.
You don't like it?
No, I don't like it. And bring back stopping the clock on first downs normally. And if you really are worried about the time of the game, fucking shorten the commercial breaks. They're shortening the game in the wrong way. Football's already a sport that has the least amount of actual action of like any sport out there. And your solution to the games taking too long is to make it less action.
I agree. Dumb. I agree with you. I mean, like I've always been on board of I love the clock stopping on the first down. I've always loved that. I think that's a great rule. I don't mind the 2-minute warning. Like you said, I think the timing issue is not about the game.
No, at all.
It's not the game. It's the fucking ad breaks. And so once they wrap their mind around that, that's how you shorten the game. Everything else is fine.
But the ad breaks are what bring in the money. Here's the problem, right? We have the technology. They do it all the fucking time to do the picture-in-picture commercials. After a touchdown, do 5 straight minutes of picture-in-picture commercials that include the extra point and the kickoff. And if they happen to be doing an onside kick or going for 2 at a critical point, then you hold off on the ad break.
You can also when the action's not going, full screen an ad.
Yeah.
Like between if there was picture-in-picture ads going and they do the touchdown ads, field goal or extra point ads, kickoff ads, that wouldn't be so bad if there was picture-in-picture and they just full screened it when there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
But the game just got to flow.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, they've already shown that they can do it with the world's slowest sport to watch in golf. Yeah. So we know that ad buyers will still buy ad space.
But it's so like TV timeouts are the worst.
It's awful.
When you're there.
Oh, it's terrible. It's like it's a total crowd killer.
Yeah.
And you guys remember back when commercial breaks weren't as bad. So when we were first in the band, right?
Yeah.
So way before these monster TV deals were signed.
The question is, were commercials not that bad, or are we just not on TV that much?
I'm thinking back specifically to the Halloween game, right?
Yeah.
Like all of our historic favorite game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you go to Autzen today, and we've all been back to Autzen numerous times since our college days, the atmosphere is different because there is so much time between exciting things that it is impossible to stay up like that crowd did in that Halloween game. And that was an ESPN primetime football game.
Yeah.
That game was all gas.
Cameron, we were at Folsom. You guys were at Folsom in 2016. That place gets fucking crazy when it's good. You were, Cameron, it was a sellout for North Dakota State. We were there. The crowd was dead because after every fucking play, it felt like we were waiting 4.5 minutes for something to happen.
I mean, twice I could leave the seats, go back, buy a beer, go pee, and come back in a commercial break during a drive.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
They're fixing the wrong thing. That part ain't broke. Don't fix it.
Agreed.
Ad buyers are going to buy whatever you offer them when it comes to primetime college football. It's the second most watched sport in the country.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to buy. So if you're offering them a picture-in-picture ad, fuck, if I was an advertiser, I would want that spot because people are actually sitting there watching still.
Yeah, they're actively engaged on what's on screen.
Right. I want to see, like, it's an extra point. Who cares? But it's better than sitting through a 3-minute commercial break.
Yeah.
It's a kickoff. Usually nothing exciting happens, but I'm going to watch in case something does.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're missing the whole point. And the first network that figures that out is going to be wickedly popular.
Yes.
It's just amazing to me that they haven't. Here's the solution. I have the actual solution. Put us in charge of all of it.
Commissioners of Sports.
It's in the dang logo.
It's in the fucking logo.
The dang logo.
I mean, freaking doggone. We already told you.
Freaking doggone.
It would behoove you.
Just listen to us. We know what we're fucking talking about.
Run the dang ball, Bert.
Enough with the trick plays, Bert. Run the dang ball.
Arizona State.
That movie sucks.
And
Scattaboo.
Scattaboo.
He's got a fun name.
He's also
Homie's
good.
a cheat code in College Football 25 too.
Yes, he is. Mm-hmm.
He's also kind of a cheat code in real life.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Just
like Jenny Dillingham celebrate. What a nerd.
I like that guy.
Me too.
Hard not to. Anyway, yeah, that's our ranting about them trying to fix what ain't broke in college football. Before we dive into college football, Sir Beauregard Nix had his first start as a Bronco on Sunday.
I was thinking something else.
And shocking to everybody, apparently, he's a rookie, and he played like a rookie.
I thought he played like a rookie, right? He played like a rookie, and his receivers did not help him at all.
I honestly think he played better than most rookies. He just got fucked by his team.
Yeah, I think he played fine. Nothing that I saw was like world is falling. He sucks. It's like he forced the ball a couple times, right?
Yeah, there were a couple legitimately terrible throws.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. But in the first quarter alone, there were 4 or 5 drops that were first downs, all of them. What are we doing here, guys? Right, like Cortland Sutton, Mr. Sure Hands himself, right through his beans, gone.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, man. Like, people are like, "Well, Caleb Williams won his first game." Here's Caleb Williams' stat line: 14 of 29 for 93 yards, 3.2 average, and a quarterback rating of 55.7. That is dog shit.
Yeah. He happens to have a really good team around him.
And a stellar defense.
Yeah.
They had a pick 6, right? Like, he didn't even need to fucking score for them to win. Right? Yeah. Here's Bo's stat line for anybody curious. He was 26 of 42. They had him throw the ball 42 times in his first start. 138 yards, 3.3 average, 2 picks, quarterback rating of 47.5. Not a great stat line, but if you go back and look at stat lines of the great quarterback, here's another thing, Broncos fans, for all you fucking idiots on the internet that I saw last weekend saying that he's a bust. Don't forget that John Elway got benched twice in his first 2 games and once for the rest of the season until his replacement got injured and he had to come in and start again. I'm talking about John Elway, like the savior of the Broncos forever.
I think like we've really, as like football has really lost the mark on what it means to play quarterback in the NFL. Like it used to be that none of these guys would start day one, right? They're talking about like rookie quarterbacks never winning their debut.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, well, yeah. Or the number 1 pick never winning their debut. It's like, yeah, because they're on a shit team. But like also, they're rookies. They're a lot of times they're 21, maybe. Like what do we like these like Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, sat for 4 years. behind Brett Favre to develop and learn the game, adapt to the speed of the game. And now these guys, I know Bo's a little older, but like they're expected to play day one and be great. And you're like I think, Bryce Young, if he didn't have to step in and start day one, he's got a high upside. He can play the game. We've seen it. But he's going to have a bad career, right? He already has kind of had a bad career. He's going to get benched. He's going to get forgotten because there's no development anymore. It's plug and play.
Right. You either have to, and this is where like Sean Payton needs to step up at this point and say, look, it's not going to look great every week. Here's the reality, right? Yeah. He needs to be the one. This is your job as a fucking head coach. Say, we've committed to this. We are committed to this. It's going to look rough at times, period. End of discussion. You all need to be patient. He's got what it takes, but it's going to be a learning curve. It's not hard.
Yeah.
But he's not going to do that because he's an egomaniac. Like most head coaches. But anyway, Broncos fans, chill the fuck out. It's going to be fine. There were enough good things that I saw on Saturday from Bo. His throw to the sideline on 3rd down and long. I forget who he threw it to. Beautiful. Back shoulder throw up in the air. Go up and get it. Beautiful. Chef's kiss. So I saw enough good things. He used his feet. He scored a touchdown with his legs. It's good stuff, right? Broncos also have 0 run game. So it's going to look rough at times, but he'll be fine. Anyway, that's enough NFL. We have college football to talk about because last week was interesting.
We have to talk about something first.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
How did I forget 12?
Yes.
Adding 4 teams to the roster, making them the Pac-6. Halfway there, boys.
Halfway there. They need 2 more to officially be a conference that's recognized by the NCAA.
But they have 2 years to do it.
Right. And here's the thing. I'm going to call this right now. This is my guess. And I'm not the first to guess this. I know. But I think they're going to get Cal and Stanford back.
I agree with that. I also think they're going to go to 10, and I think they're going to get Wyoming, and I think they're going to get a Texas school. Or UNLV.
UNLV makes more. I just don't know who you can even get in Texas anymore. South Texas.
There was a couple people that they're like, it makes sense, right?
SMU, if you can pull them out of the ACC also.
I'm trying to remember who it was. They're targeting these people, and it was like I'm trying to remember the source.
North Texas.
It wasn't North Texas.
I think it is
UTSA. It was UTSA.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not terrible.
So they're targeting next, is from what this is saying from the AP. UTSA, Memphis, Tulane, Mountain Air Force, UNLV. So that's I think they're gonna try to get that Texas market, and so they're gonna reach on some team like Texas State or UTSA or UTEP, somebody who will join them, who gets them into that Texas market.
Yeah, I could see that, and I don't hate it. Listen. This was the only move, right? There were 2 moves if you're Oregon State, Washington State. You grasp at straws to get into any of the other 4 conferences, or you rebuild. And they were committed to rebuilding the Pac-12 from the jump.
Yeah.
So this was a matter of time. I think they picked 4 great teams. Like of the Mountain West teams, these are probably the ones to pick.
I agree.
I'd say the biggest reach in that group is Colorado State, but Colorado State is better than the rest in a lot of the other sports that I think as a whole, like if you're looking at this beyond football, it makes a lot of sense. all state schools right now, which is super interesting.
That's kind of hilarious.
And 3 of them are actually states and 3 of them are not. I don't know if you noticed that. I saw it was something on
it's
Twitter.
It's the new divisions. Yeah. You got 3 that are a state and 3 that aren't a state.
Yeah, you got Colorado State, Oregon State, Washington State. Those are actually states. You got Fresno State, not a state. Boise State, it's not a state. And San Diego State, which is also hilarious.
Not a state. So they should go off that model for the next 4. So their conferences are decided.
Can I tell you something?
Or there's divisions.
When I first saw that, my instant reaction was a pang of jealousy of they still get to be the Pac-12.
I'm not going to lie. I felt the same thing. And the thing that I thought about this afternoon when I had like 2 seconds to think to myself today was, all right, they're at 6. If they get Cal and Stanford back and get to 8, you bring Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA back, you get to 12.
Go through all this rigmarole to offload Arizona's and Colorado and Utah.
Hey, fuck Arizona's, man. I fucking hate that place. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, true.
I would much rather go play Fresno State in November than Arizona.
Also, that's like a bi-yearly trip to San Diego for us, you know?
Maybe that's a golf trip every year.
Golf trip, baby.
What I wouldn't be able to stand is the absolute hell that we would get from Beav and Coug fans if we jumped back. So I think what's done is done.
I don't think that box is getting closed. the Oregon, the teams that went to the Big Ten are gone, right? Because the Big Ten, there's too much money,
and the Big 12
going to be and the Big
both
12.
of them.
Yeah,
I mean the Big 12 teams are making more money than Oregon and Washington.
Yeah,
for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, those teams, like any hope of that reuniting is gone.
Can't unhot this dog.
But yeah, your tinge of jealousy that you felt is definitely.
I just like I saw the logo, I saw teams under it, and I was like,
damn it,
man, like, why not us? Fuck Larry Scott, dude. Oh my god.
Fuck him.
I know we haven't said it in a while, and that was like true visceral reaction once I realized, like, why not us? Because fucking Larry Scott. I hate that man.
I mean, here's and even like, I'm gonna push this beyond like fuck Larry Scott forever. This is not a Larry Scott. I'm not excusing him of blame, but this is why having like the NFL model of having a centralized TV deal for the entire league is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if the NCAA could just come, like it's never going to happen because people are way too fucking greedy, especially the SEC and Big Ten.
Yeah.
But if we could go back 20 years to like 2000, turn of the century, get the NCAA under good leadership, and get a college football media deal, not based on conferences, we'd be in a great spot.
That'd be so dope.
Again, put us in charge. We'll do it.
We'll fix it.
We'll get it right.
We'll fix it. God.
Can you imagine
would you keep a 12-team playoff?
Would I keep it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely I would.
Me too. Would you move it to 16?
I don't know. I would have to let it play out for a couple years.
I don't like as of now, theoretically in my head, I wouldn't.
I think I would change the seeding. Like, I don't think I would auto bid the 4 as conference champions.
I think it should be top 4, like rank.
I think conference champions should be like a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. That should be huge. Right.
That would be part of your ranking, right? If you win the SEC, there's almost no chance you're not being in the top 4, right?
Right. But if you're a 3-loss champion and there's a 1-loss conference loser that's in a far superior conference and lost to an undefeated team, like both those teams should be in the top 4. Like there's no reason to punish somebody just because they're in the same conference as the best team in the country in that case.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd change the model a little bit, like tweaks, but I think I'd keep the 14. Yeah. I also would not guarantee a group of 6 school. Group of 5, sorry.
Group of 6.
I think Pac-12 still gets an auto bid.
No, I thought I saw something like they didn't. They're not going to get an auto bid. That would be insane if they got an auto bid.
No, it's not an auto bid. It's not because they're not a conference right now. They're not a qualified conference.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Group of 6. We'll call it the group of 6. I would not guarantee them. I'd get rid of a lot of the guarantees because that's dumb.
Yeah.
Give me the best teams and give me a nice playoff. That's what I want.
And I'm keeping the home games forever.
What do you think a college football media deal would be? I don't know that I could even find a number.
It'd be insane.
Absurd. And it would have to be like the NFL one, right? Where it's across every network pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's packaged as like you get a Sunday ticket type thing, like you get a Saturday thing where you can subscribe and you get literally every college football game ever.
How much would you pay for that service?
A ridiculous amount of money.
If I could watch every college football game and they have like multi-view and shit.
Yeah, at my fingertips, or they had like a red zone equivalent. I would pay a stupid amount of money for that.
Yeah, they're talking about like I think NFL. If you want to watch every NFL game, it's going to cost you like $800 this season. I'd pay that for college football
in a heartbeat.
I'd split it with you guys, but we have to go in on one.
But if you guys somehow decided that you're not doing it, I would still fucking do it.
Yeah.
To segue a little bit, I'm gonna put a link in our local chat, not in the Twitch chat. So you guys can pull that up. But it appears that a couple hours ago there was a hit and run in Boulder, and the dude drove his truck onto Folsom.
What the fuck?
Yo.
Hit and run at Foothills and Arapahoe, and then entered the stadium.
How the fuck did he get in there?
He probably drove through the fence that's on Foothills Parkway or Colorado. At that corner.
I mean, there's not a fence, so you can drive right up to the stadium because the store's right there. And then if you go to where like the band enters.
Yeah, if you went on that side. I can't tell by the picture. It looks like not a great picture.
Where is that? That's not a great picture.
I need a little bit more sideline. But yeah.
That's a grass field too, so like they're gonna have a rough time over at least there's not a game in 2 days, but that guy's gonna owe some monies.
Getting in some trouble.
There's some drugs involved there for sure.
Gotta be.
That's wild.
Oh, it's over by where Ralphie finishes her run. There's another picture in the comments.
So he went all the way up to the top.
Yeah, he went up the driveway past the Alumni Center. And then came down.
Jeez.
Man, he's all the way out at the 40. Like, that's crazy. I wonder how much of the field he dug up. Anyway, that's wild.
That's insane.
Fucking crazy. Where were we? We're talking about a media deal for college football. Would be nuts. The Pac-12, good for them. I'm happy for Oregon State and Washington State. As much as we give them shit, And as bad as they fumbled the bag the last decade to get to the point where they couldn't get an invite to any conference, they really picked up the pieces and stepped up big time with what they were able to do in terms of the lawsuit against the 10 departing and quickly, I mean, relatively speaking, quickly starting to rebuild the pack. That's that.
That's that.
All right. Let's get into actual football action. Last week, I had a pretty good week picking. We all did pretty well. I went 16-5. Eli went 15-6. Cameron went 15-6, and Chris went 16-5 in the money line. So pretty good showing from the show there. We all did better in the spread too this week. You know, week 1 we were basically 500. All of us were better this week. Eli was worse this week than he was last week because last week he was crazy good. I was 13-8. Eli was 11-10. Cameron was 12-9, and Chris was 12-9. So good stuff in the spread. We're not going to go through all these games because most of them were kind of garbo, but we will focus on the big ones. Starting in the Big Ten, obviously the highlighter of the week was Texas and Michigan, and boy, howdy, did Texas do what we thought they would do.
Texas looked the fucking part again.
Yep.
They are going to be a steamroller this season.
Yep.
I think they'll probably stumble at some point because it's like that's like
Texas.
Patented Sark. Patented Sark and patented Texas is that they're going to find some place to fuck it up. But Texas looks as good as advertised, if not better, right now.
I mean, they made Michigan look bad at times.
To be fair, I don't think Michigan's very good this year. I've said it from the beginning. I said when we did our top 10 games of the year, I think the only one that didn't have this game on there because I said I don't think Michigan's going to be good enough to compete. And that's so far held true. Like they're not bad. Like Michigan's not a bad team, but like they have a lot of problems, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And their defense is still pretty good though.
Yeah. I mean, they're still good, right? There's a lot of talent there, but
yeah.
Spoiler alert: there's a lot of the same issues on the offensive side of the ball that Oregon's dealing with right now.
They're actually very similar right now. Those two teams, I think.
And so that's that. Iowa, man, Iowa had this game in the bag against Iowa State.
Yeah, they did.
And they fumbled that bag hard.
Yeah, they did. True Iowa fashion.
True Iowa fashion. 20-19. That's a pretty Iowa score, if you ask me. Chris was the only one that picked this game correct, and he shouldn't have because Iowa should have won. But there we are. My Illinois bet with you is looking real fucking bad at this moment in time. I'm very sad about my face and how it's going to feel when you slap it.
There's still time, but I'm feeling pretty good right now.
You should, because that was a big win.
And they look good. They look good.
They did.
Their defense is pretty good. Like, again, they don't look fantastic. Like, you know, I'm not.
No, they're not going to be world beaters.
Yeah, but
they're not going to be total ass like I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, they're not total ass. They can compete with these teams.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for me. We will save Colorado and Oregon for last. Team number 2 that looked the part for the second week in a row is USC. And this is very sad for me because that defense, holy shit. Like if you had told me that these 2 games went the way they did and it was a USC defense that did it, I'd say you're fucking high.
Yep. They look legit though. It's amazing. Could you imagine if these Caleb Williams teams with not Alex Grinch at defensive coordinator?
No.
They might not have lost.
No, I can't imagine that.
They might not have lost. Truly,
if the defense was playing like this with Caleb Williams there, they wouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
No way.
They might have lost to Oregon. Oregon
we called this before, like we said before the season, watch out for USC because, I didn't expect this turnaround.
No, I expected another year or two before it was like good. But I mean, they have the talent.
2 games in, D'Anton Lynn has the shoe-in for coordinator of the year at this point.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's earned his contract already.
Oh yeah, tenfold. Yeah, USC fans gotta be happy, not thrilled about that.
No, we never like happy USC fans here.
Nope. Let's see other games that were on our list here. Arkansas Oklahoma State was a good game, went into double overtime, and Oklahoma State still covered, so that's awesome for us. Because of the overtime rules, they still won by 8.
Oklahoma State, I feel like they didn't play that great.
No, they definitely didn't.
I feel like there a lot of mistakes that they didn't make in week 1 against South Dakota State. But like, they pulled it off against like what is actually a surprisingly good Arkansas team. So yeah, good for them. Good for them. Ollie Gordon is fucking insane. He run the ball good.
Yeah, I mean he's crazy, but Oklahoma State just is so inconsistent.
They always will be. They always have been. They always will be.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as Mike Gundy's there, like for some reason, Mike Gundy he coaches inconsistently.
Yep.
Good coach. Great coach. Really inconsistent. There's always
kind of crazy.
Absolute psychopath. Not kind of crazy. The dude is unhinged.
He is unhinged.
The dude ate the one crayon out of the crayon box to make him short.
Mm-hmm.
That was a long walk for a short drink of water.
Let's see. Elsewhere, we got Baylor at Utah. This game started out the way we thought it would look. And then Cam Rising got hurt again.
Typical. Turns out Cam Rising is him, dude. Because without him, they look terrible.
Dude, I don't know. I'm never gonna count out Kyle Whittingham.
Mm-hmm.
But the last 2 seasons, if they don't have Cam Rising in the game, they look mediocre at best.
At best. Who's their backup this year?
I was trying to look that up.
Isaac Wilson.
Yeah.
He's a freshman.
True freshman.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah. So that's rough. He's not expected to play this week again. They play Utah State, so they should be able to get away with that.
The 4-star quarterback out of Draper, Utah.
But Utah fans need to be hoping that Cam Rising can somehow find a way to stay on the football field.
Luckily, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. Luckily, it's Utah State, right? They're playing this week?
Yeah.
Or no? Yeah. Luckily, Utah State's in shambles right now.
Yeah,
so
they're awful.
That whole program is in total disarray.
Yep.
So it's a good game to have your true freshman start.
Yep. Since it is a state school, that is a short list candidate to join the Pac-12.
True.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right. Cal at Auburn. We talked about this. None of us actually picked the upset because it felt like too much going into Auburn and winning.
I wish I would have had the balls to do it.
I know, me too. But we all mentioned it. We all picked Cal to cover the spread, and they definitely did that. But They won 21-14, but it was a more dominant win than that. Like Cal controlled this football game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was impressive.
Cal looked good.
Yeah,
Cal
legitimately
really good.
like Cal should be putting the AC. This sounds so fucking like that sounds like vomit coming out of my mouth. Cal's kind of putting the ACC on notice right now, right? And I think if you're a Cal fan, you kind of wish that they didn't play Auburn because they could have just snuck up on the ACC. If they played a cupcake non-conference schedule, they could have just snuck up on the ACC and wrecked havoc.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like I feel like people underrate Jade Knott, right?
Oh, nationally for sure,
and like he just ran all over Auburn.
Oh yeah, he ran.
They had no answer for him. Yeah, the Cal looks good. I mean, I don't know if they'll compete for the ACC title, right? I don't know if they could run with like Miami, but
right, I would say probably not.
But they can. They'll definitely. I think they're surprised. I think you're right. I think they're going to surprise people with. I think all the Pac-12 teams are surprising people with how physical and how good the teams are.
Go fucking figure.
Weird. It's almost like it was a good football comp.
Bro, dude, Pac-12 teams are like 23-2.
I'm gonna do some meditation here. Just in.
Pac-12 teams are 23-2 or something like that to start the season.
Yeah, it's
so frustrating.
And it's a dead conference. Not anymore.
It's a reviving conference.
It's a rebuilding conference.
There's Tennessee at NC State. Woo, boy, howdy, did Tennessee put NC State in their place.
The whooping.
If there are two things that we've seen so far this season, it's that Pac-12 schools were good at football, as we've been saying for the past forever.
Mm-hmm.
And transfer quarterbacks are struggling.
Yep. Across the board, really.
Across the board. We're going to get into some transfer discussion here in a little bit, and you can guess where that's coming from. But what's his name? McCall, the NC State transfer from Coastal Carolina, was supposed to come in and light the world on fire, and he looked ass on Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, Tennessee's good, so I'm not taking this away from Tennessee, but if you look across the board at the highest profile transfer quarterbacks and how they are playing, including the one in Eugene, it's not great.
Yeah. I mean, Cam Ward might be the exception right now.
Cam Ward's the exception right now.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you know? He's a Pac-12 guy. Amazing.
Weird.
Don't talk about DJ though. He's
not a Pac-12 guy. He's not. Yeah, he's an ACC guy.
He's an ACC guy. It was a
short stopover.
He was a pretender.
That's like saying you've been to Houston when you've only done
a Pac-12 wannabe.
Houston. It doesn't count.
Yeah. I've
never been to
wannabe.
Houston. I've just done layovers.
He's a wannabe. Everybody want to be in Pac-12, except nobody does. Let's see. That's pretty much it. Texas Tech at Washington State. Washington State, I tell you what, man, the Pac-2 schools are on a mission right now, and it scares me.
Yeah, it do. Especially this. We'll talk about this later. This upcoming week. But they clearly have a purpose. Especially Washington State. I think Oregon State has its flaws, and they've shown still some of their flaws. Washington State looks legit. I fully underestimated this team coming into the season. They look
no doubt
pretty
about
damn good. They are lighting up the scoreboard. Granted, like the competition isn't like insane.
And let's not forget, right? Like beating Texas Tech sounds good on paper. Texas Tech should have lost to an FCS school week 1. So
yeah,
calm, everybody, chill out a little bit.
Like, yeah, but they look great. They look legit.
Abilene Christian scored more points than Washington State on Texas Tech. So if we want to like bring this back down to earth a little bit,
I forgot that they went with Abilene Christian.
They should have lost. Abilene Christian.
Thank God they went to that 3-stripe jersey.
Right. Yeah, man.
New look.
So that's that.
New culture.
Oh, I forgot. I won a best bet. It's a fucking miracle. I did it. Guys.
I'm keeping the culture alive with 0 for 3.
Texas -7.5 won with a bullet. Eli's Liberty -22.5 almost lost to the money line.
That's par for the course, boys.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I pick a team.
Come out this week.
I'm gonna start picking. I am picking Oregon State money line as my best bet this week because they'll forget how to play football.
That's fair.
Like that's just how. I mean, again, we talk. The Oklahoma State one is the biggest example where they come out and just get blown out by UCF after beating Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
It's comical at this point.
It is. It's funny. I might go 0 for 12 or 0 for 15 or whatever.
0 for 16. Oh, yeah. And then we got playoffs. It's going to be 0 for like 21.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
All right, let's get into the games for our school. We're going to start with Colorado at Nebraska. This game went like we thought, right? I think all of us pretty much thought this. Cameron picked CU, and I think that was more of a trying to will it into existence than it being an actual pick.
Yeah, because I picked Nebraska in our pick'em.
Yeah.
I picked them here, and I picked Washington State too, so it was a trade-off. That was a flip.
That's fair. Cameron, I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Where do you me, obviously I'm a lifelong Colorado fan. I grew up going to games at Folsom. I was a fan long before Deion. I'm going to be a fan long after Deion. Nothing's changing for me there.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you sit today with the Deion Sanders version of Colorado?
I still think this season it feels like a bunch of individuals wearing the same jersey. I don't get that kind of team feel from someone who
Cameron. That was fucking
like that.
Sick. Wait, that. Well, that was well said. Sorry, I had to give you the props on the props. That was real good. That was really good. Okay,
good.
Continue.
It doesn't feel like a team that came out of spring ball and camp and just meshed and was, looked like they were going together. Shedeur and Travis have played a lot together, but they're one unit on there. And then there's 9 other guys on offense. And that will expose a lot of things. And it'll also make it so you don't inherently pick up the slack from other players, especially online. You just don't know your teammates well enough to know what they excel at, their weaknesses, and kind of be secondhand in your communication and how you play with them. And it's something right now that the Oregon O-line is going through, but they're adapting to it, and we're starting to see it kind of pick up. I haven't seen that kind of light switch for Colorado yet, where the all of those guys are starting to play together. And I think until we see that, this team is going to be, I think they're going to win some, because they're going to have 2 of the best players in the country out there, and they're going to connect. And they've showed against North Dakota State that they can force some of those connections and come out on top. But they don't look like they're going to be a well-rounded football team. And I think that comes from how Deion has built this team. When a new coach comes in, you kind of have that. You play with what you had, then you kind of build your team. But a lot of coaches start from, the pure recruiting aspect, so that in 5 years or 4 years, they've got that. They've built up their pipeline of recruits, but the recruits are showing up and they're playing together long-term. They've played for 2 or 3 seasons. We've got guys that are coming in for 1 or 2 years of eligibility, and then they're gone. So it's like this is almost like a bunch of dudes on one of the All-American teams, so they can get highlights and go to the next level if they're good enough.
Yeah, 100%, all of that. with all of that said, where do you stand with Deion specifically?
He
like here. I'll make.
I don't think he's a good coach. Are
you in or out?
I'm teetering. I committed when he came in that I'd give that first season a flash and the hype, a second season to really see if he could buckle down and make a decision on him. He's not going to be a long-term solution. I don't see him building a Colorado team that over the next 5, 6, 10 years is going to be at the top of the Big 12. I just don't see that in his wheelhouse. I see him being able to get some good players, and if he gets some great coordinators around him that can help him, then maybe. But I don't see him being the answer to where we can get back to a team like that was a flash like in 2016, which surprised a lot of us.
Yeah. All right. So here's where I'm at. Your analysis is spot on. It's pretty evident, right, that at this point the experiment is what the experiment is. You can't just bring in a bunch of misfits and have them gel and be a football team. And let's be honest, anybody that's in the transfer portal is in there for a reason. It's not because they're going to start at a top-tier program. That's just facts. So there's two ways for me to look at this. The first is I need to keep in perspective that in 2022, Colorado was 1-11, should have been 0-12, and was the absolute worst team in college football. So I think in all of this, people lose sight of how bad it fucking was here.
Absolutely.
Right? So especially on the national level and all the shit that Deion gets, he didn't have a whole lot of choice in year one specifically, and to a lesser degree in year two. There had to be some major turnover. Deion wasn't going to come in here and do the slow burn, right? He wasn't going to do we're going to suck for 5 years until we figure this out. That's not who he is. It's not who he's ever going to be. What I don't like at all is a total inability to adapt. And that's what I'm seeing at this point. I think he's in over his head. I don't think he knows what he's doing at an FBS Power 4 conference level. His admitted reluctance to recruit high school is ultimately what is going to fail him. We're seeing it at Oregon. We're seeing it at places across the country. If you are relying heavily on transfers at important positions, like the O-line, for example, you are going to fail, and you're going to fail miserably. And you're going to get your son killed in the fucking process. And that's what we're seeing with Shedeur. Now, where am I at with Deion as a whole? Do I think Deion's going to win national championships at Colorado? No, I don't at all. Do I think that's where the measuring stick needs to be? No. I think we all need to move the goalposts at what this whole thing needs to be for Colorado. And that is get Colorado back on the map, reinvigorate the fan base, show that there is support for this program so the next guy that comes in can do it the right way. And if those are the measuring sticks, and maybe get to bowl eligibility, right? Like if we're talking about what is a realistic expectation, I think the goalpost got moved way too far too quick. And Deion is a large part of that because he talks such a big game, right? And that's just a part of his personality and who he is. But I think the goalpost just got moved way too far for what this should be. And I think if we're looking at this, responsibly as fans, it's a massive success what he's been able to do so far. Is he the long-term solution? No. Was he ever going to be the long-term solution? No. What we've been saying from the jump when he got here was he's a 2-year rental while his sons are in college, right?
Yeah, I gave him 4 at most.
Everybody's been saying that, right?
Yeah.
So like I think we just need to be realistic about what this is and accept that as Colorado fans. And if you move the goalposts back to where they should be, this is a huge success. Even winning 4 games last year is a massive success, right? From where the team was to where they are now is crazy, because what we watched in 2022 was legitimately the worst football I've ever seen. It was awful. So I think I just needed to refocus my efforts, and this game did that, right? Like, and I think Nebraska is legitimately a good football team, specifically up front. That D-line is fucking crazy good, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not the Nebraska that they played last year.
Right.
That team is night and day different now.
Well, and last year Nebraska was missing their biggest pass rusher and their best corner, right?
Yep.
That's a big deal when you're playing Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a huge deal. So I'm not like the sky is falling. They pitched a fucking shutout in the second half. We're talking about one of the worst defenses in the country last year in Colorado. They pitched a shutout, right? And you can whine about the penalties that were called in the second half. They were legit fucking penalties. I watched them. That was a hold on the wide receiver all day, every day on that long run that got called back. They were legitimate calls. And pitching a shutout when you give up 28 in the first half, now 7 of that was a pick six, but there's positives to be taken here. And the defense clearly, to me, took a step up this game from what we saw the week before. So, yeah, it sucks to lose to Nebraska. I hate it always. You know, the 5,034 days since Nebraska beat Colorado's over, and that sucks. But if we're looking at this responsibly, I think most people had this penciled in as a loss. If you're trying to be realistic about it, it was a loss. Shiloh Sanders being out for 4 weeks with a broken forearm is not good. But the defense played the entire second half without him and pitched shutout. Right?
Yeah, I like you said, I don't think the sky is falling. And when we talked preseason, a little bit just in passing, you know, we looked at these first 3 games. We, you know, that it's 2-1, and you know, it kind of depends on where it's going to happen. We both kind of thought it'd be Nebraska.
If you're looking at those 3 games, Nebraska is the one that makes sense.
Because I mean, you know, Matt Rule has just been able to do stupid things, like you said. They got their playmakers back on defense, and so I think that they have some upside, and we give them some more time. As a team, they'll start to gel a little bit more, but they're going to have to start playing as a team and figure it out.
Here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. They have to win this weekend. You talk about a must-win football game. You have to beat Colorado State. If you don't beat Colorado State, it's done. Season done. Forget the rest. You can beat Baylor at home. You can beat UCF. You can beat Cincinnati, and you can beat Texas Tech. Like, Texas Tech is probably the worst team in the Big 12 through 2 weeks of the season. The rest of those games are winnable. So if you're looking to go to a bowl, you have to win the games that you're supposed to win, right? That's where we're at, and that's the deal. I'm not fully out. I've readjusted my expectations, and I think being realistic about what it can and should be is where I need to sit.
I think we can all agree, though, they need to run the damn ball.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. But here's the thing: in that game, I don't know that I hated them throwing the ball as much as they did, because they didn't have a choice. They were outmatched. Colorado State, what I need to see in drive 1 is come out and that O-line needs to be fucking pissed off. If you should be able to do anything, and Eli, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you are committed to a run game, like, run blocking is not something that takes it's mostly effort.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say pass blocking is mostly effort. Run blocking, since you're firing out at people, and you have assignments on top of that, there's a lot more. It's definitely like you have to put in more effort than necessarily pass blocking, but like winning or losing is like a lot more dependent on how you move your body and
That's
technique. Because especially if you're trying to seal a corner, effort's not going to get you all the way there, right? You need to have the technique to get around. But yeah, I mean, it's my turn. I'll talk about Colorado now. I sat for like 20 minutes. All right. I had to clear my throat. You know, watching this Nebraska game, it just made it clear to me kind of like where I've kind of stood with this Deion Sanders experiment in Colorado, where it's like, yes, they are markedly better than they were 2 years ago, and they are better than they were last year. Right. But I still haven't seen like quite the improvement that I see. And I've said this from the beginning. Deion's not a developer.
No,
he's not a developer.
Straight up not.
And I think you're seeing that now. Like the flaws, they got marginally better, but like not enough, right? For the amount of talent that you've added to this team, right? Like last year you let 8 sacks against Nebraska. This year you let 6, right? Like it's better, but like that's still bad. And like to your point, Cameron, talking about you need to come out and run the ball. I just don't know if this offensive line is good enough to run the ball. Like they're just not there. They're still not there, right? It was like, and Jamie, kind of like you touched on with the transfer portal stuff. It's, you know, the reason why I've always thought this is like not a sustainable strategy for Deion is that you are getting every once in a while you'll get a guy like Travis Hunter, who's like just that guy who just wants to go somewhere else or wants to play for this coach, right? Every once in a while you get a guy like Evan Stewart who like he's a contributor, he's just in the wrong situation or a coach leaves. That's the exception. The rule is guys who aren't getting playing time, right? They're not good enough to start on their team. And so relying on those guys to come in and mesh and gel and be good and compete is you have to be a good developer. You have to. Like you have to be able to develop
quickly,
lesser talent quickly.
Yeah.
And Deion's just not that guy. He never has been. I don't think he ever will be. And I think like you nailed it from the beginning. You know, I've said this is the perfect hire for Colorado. They need to get back on the map. They need to be cool again. They need to you have black and gold. It is the coolest uniform combination in existence. Get back on that level. And they did. Those fucking uniforms. Fuck, they're cool. But like, you get back to where you have the hype, the zhuzh to get players in, and then you get a guy who can develop, who will recruit high school, who does that. And I think that's fine. I don't think that's like a knock necessarily on Deion. It's just not where he's at. It's not his strength as a football coach.
Agreed.
And it's okay for him to leave after a couple years for the next guy to build on what Deion's built so far.
Right. Here's the thing. Right. And Colorado's never going to fire Deion. It's not going to happen. Okay. So Deion's going to have to leave. Does he leave after this season or not? If you ask him, he's going to say no, but who knows? Right. I'm okay if Deion leaves after the season. I'm good. I think the goal was accomplished. And Cameron, you can attest to this. The support is there. We know it now. We see it financially. We see it in the stadium. We see it in resale ticket value right now. The support is there to be had. If you want to commit to football, if you're CU, now's the fucking time because the support's there. So I'm good. I think everything's fine. I'm not going to be. I'm not a Deion hater, but I'm not like he's.
I think the worst thing to happen to this Colorado team is that 3-0 start last season.
Yeah,
because I agree. That is what dramatically shifted the goalposts to from an improvement year to a. I mean, people were talking about national championships after 3 games. You know, and like most football people were like,
no,
relax.
Everybody pumped.
Relax, dude. But like, you know, this media hype and like all this crazy hype around them is what really kind of it changed these goalposts to where they shouldn't be.
Right. If they had lost that Colorado State game, which they should have lost, by the way.
They should have lost that game.
That probably would have been the best thing that could have happened. Right.
I would
beat Nebraska, fuck Nebraska forever, keep that win streak alive. Great. All things are good. Let's come back down to earth with a lost Colorado State. That game's been weird since I was a baby. Just weird shit happens.
Well, I think honestly, like if they lose to TCU, we're talking about a totally different thing, right?
Right.
Because that's what really spurred this on is TCU. Oh, they were in the national championship last year. Turns out they were hot garbage last year after they lost everyone. But like if they lose that game, right? If they lose that game by even 3, whatever, we're talking about an entirely different framing of what Colorado and Deion is.
Right. And I think they would have surprised some teams that they lost to by a score later in the season.
I fully agree with that. I literally think the worst thing that happened is that 3-0 start.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it totally shifted the narrative nationally, right? And that's why I think people have just lost sight of how bad it was.
Yeah.
Including CU fans that we attend games with. But anyway, I don't
tell you one thing. Shiloh is doing his best to make Colorado look bad, though. Not like with his shit talking. I don't know if you saw the Nebraska video, but
I mean, Shiloh's a punk. There's no two ways.
Here's the thing. I think he's hilarious. I think he's great.
He is hilarious.
He needs to learn to shut his damn mouth until he wins some football games, though, because like I don't know if you saw when they came out for the handshake. He's like, "We're gonna roll y'all. We're gonna roll y'all," and like talking shit to him. I'm like, dude, you got to be able to back it up first.
Yep, 100%. And that's how this team's always gonna be. One thing I want to touch on. I don't want to like sing Nebraska's praises too much, but I legitimately Nebraska is probably going to be 7-0 going into Columbus in week 8. And we'll probably be a top 10 team at that point. Like, I think Nebraska is legit.
I do too.
But
like they were a quarterback away last year, truly. And
but
like even thought Jeff Sims was maybe the most inept quarterback I've ever seen in a Power 5.
1,000%. But Dylan Raiola might be the cringiest fucking quarterback on the planet right
100%. I saw that. I don't know if you saw the part of my take, I think today. But like, it's just creepy.
How it's like creepy as fuck.
It's weird. This whole Patrick Mahomes session. It's fucking weird.
It is creepy.
Yeah. No, he's definitely one of the cringiest guys out there. For sure. For sure.
So I can't.
We've got to remember he's 19 or 18 years old. So
and he chose to go to Nebraska. Like there's something wrong in his brain.
Yeah. He's just a weird guy. Who chooses to go to Lincoln for 4 years?
Ugh, gross.
I mean, we had fun when we were there, but I don't want to live there.
Fuck no. All right. Let's talk about our beloved Ducks. I had a fun realization on Saturday because I was at a Green Day concert during this football game. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I saved about 5 years of my life because of
I would agree with that.
Yep. So I may just stop watching football live.
You know, I've done that before when I get really stressed out sometimes. I think the Ohio State game a couple of years back at the shoe, like I couldn't do it. I was like in the middle of the game. I had to turn it off in the middle of the game. I came back and I did that during this game too. When they fumbled twice in a row, I turned it off. I was like, that was the first time my girlfriend saw like a real visceral reaction to football. Cause I was like, fuck, they fucking suck. And like, I turned it off and then I came back. I texted you guys. I was like, this fucking bullshit. Like, you know, like, and I was like, okay, visceral reaction. We've calmed down. That was a bad one. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I definitely lost some years on that game.
I've lost way too many years watching football.
Yeah. My girlfriend's already worried about my blood pressure. You know, I can't.
Well, listen, man. Like I could say this all I want. There's no fucking way that I'm not going to watch live football unless I can.
No. Although I got to tell you, I do really love watching football. That's not the Ducks.
Oh yeah,
because I'm not stressed out.
It is so enjoyable to watch college football games.
It is so fun.
That we didn't even talk about Northern Illinois beating Notre Dame.
Oh, fucking! That was like the most fun I've had watching.
So much fucking fun.
Yeah, crazy.
So much.
Of course,
fun.
Of course, as soon as we give Notre Dame props, they fucking shit the bed.
Oh, that is par. That's like our best bets.
Yeah, that is the best bet right there. Once we give Notre Dame props, they're gonna lose. But Ducks, my take, real quick. I think they showed improvement. Not a ton of improvement, right? Not as much as I would have liked to see from the offensive line aspect of it. Although in this game, particularly this game, the Idaho game, they just played like shit. I'll just say it. They played like shit. This game felt like a team that wasn't used to each other yet, right? Because there were a lot of times when Dillon Gabriel had the protection, Evan Stewart was wide open, and they just missed each other, right? And like, I think we're seeing kind of that point of them getting better and getting more comfortable where they're at. They just look like they're not on the same page yet. And again, you talked about it earlier with like the transfer portal, and like we're seeing the side effect of the transfer portal with people struggling to gel and mesh. And that's perfectly sums up how I felt about this Oregon game. They just felt disjointed on the the defense. No worries for me. Ashton Jeanty ran for fucking 1,000,000 yards and he broke out that one. Outside of that one, Oregon really did bottle him up pretty well. Right.
Yeah, I mean, he had 192 yards, 70 of them came on that one run.
I mean, he still had 120 yards, but like he's the best running back
on 24 carries.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, like he's a great running back. He's gonna get his. He's the best running back Oregon's gonna face all season. Right. And so that, like, I wasn't worried about him running. I mean, it was obviously worrisome when he busted a 70-yarder, but like, I'm not gonna knock the defense on Ashton Jeanty getting his, right. Like, I can't do it. The defense largely played pretty well against him, I think. And they played really well against the quarterback, Maddox Matson. The passing defense looked really good. Offense just needs to click. I feel like that's where we're at right now. Offensive line still needs work, right? 4 sacks. Although this time I really do feel like Dillon Gabriel's more at fault than I did in the Idaho game. There were a few times watching that there's one he ran directly into a pass rusher. One of the sacks, he ran directly into a good blocked pass rusher. And as an offensive lineman, nothing you can do about that. It was well blocked. I mean, the pocket was small, but it was a well blocked guy, and he ran straight into him. So I did see improvement in the offensive line. I mean, they scored more, right? They scored 37 points. There's improvement here.
14 of those came on special teams, though.
That's true. 14 did come on special teams. That's true. But yeah, like I did see improvement here. Not as much as I would have liked to see between Idaho and Boise State. But now we're out of the state of Idaho. We can clear our heads. We can get on to the next thing.
That is just such a fucking terrible statement. I'm not going to let you slide on that. The state of Idaho came to Eugene twice, and we're talking about escaping both.
Yep.
That's not good.
The first one's bad. I mean, Boise State's a good team.
Yes, they are a good team.
Historically, they've been a great team.
This is where I'm at. This is my problem, right? So I talked about the goalpost moving for Colorado.
Oh, I've moved my goalpost. We talked about it last week when I said I've kind of felt this isn't the year, and this game kind of solidified that for me. I don't think this is the year.
So that's where I was going to go. I've moved the goalpost with Colorado. I am now officially, after that game, I had the benefit of watching this game knowing the result, so I could watch it slightly more objectively. It's still Oregon football, so I have a tough time being objective.
Mm-hmm.
I did get to watch this game knowing the result and being comfortable with that, so I could be as objective as possible. This is not a national championship football team.
No, it's not.
I think the defense is potentially a national championship defense. But the offensive line is just not, it's not there. And I don't think Dillon's there. And it's just, it sucks admitting that 2 weeks in. And can it change? Maybe. But we're talking about like fundamental staples to a team that aren't really things that can get there, right? They're either there or they're not. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I just don't think they are there. And that sucks, because this is going to be another one of those years that Oregon was overrated to start the season, blah, blah, blah.
Which they were. And that's, I mean.
And I think at this point, that's just true.
Yeah, I think that is factually true. You look at the talent on the paper and it's there, right? But you can't account for gelling and just fit in general. Again, it's weird because when I was watching the game, there was like 3 times that Evan Stewart specifically was a touchdown, a touchdown, and they just missed. So this game had the potential to be a blowout if Gabriel could hit those passes.
So here's the thing. If I didn't see that as clearly as you did, and when I was watching the game, I was also doing other things at different times, but I saw a couple of them. Like 2 of the throws that he missed were just flat out misses.
Oh, yeah.
Like good pocket, clean throw.
There was also one that was like, I don't really blame Dillon for, because it was just kind of one of those weird ones where you're like, you could tell it was kind of a broken play.
Yeah, he only had 3 incomplete passes, right? Yeah. So if you're just looking at the stat line, it doesn't look that bad again for the second week in a row, but the misses are glaring, right? So if that's true, if all that's missing is Dillon Gabriel gelling with the wide receivers, that can happen.
It's not all obvious. Like, I'm not trying to say that's it, but there's that flash there of like, I don't want to see any more. Obviously, back in the day, this might have been different. I don't want to see a team that relies on the big play to win a football game, right? That's where Colorado is right now. They rely on big plays to win games.
Yep.
And Oregon shouldn't be there anymore, but that's where they're at right now. With this offensive line, they have to rely on broken plays to win football games. And that's why, like I said, I'm out on national championship hopes. I'm not there. I've adjusted my expectation for this team, because that's where they're at. They're trying. They have to do big plays to win, and the defense is solid, and so they're not going to lose you any games necessarily, but the offense is a liability right now, which is insane to say as an Oregon fan.
I'm not going to say I'm fully out, because if you go back and look at last season, Georgia had some we talked about all season, how is Georgia ranked so high? And they barely lost Alabama for a playoff spot and could have won another title at the end of the season, right? So I'm not going to say I'm fully out, but 2 red flag games in a row, give me a third and I'll be out, right? I need 3.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask me where I sit today, I'm with you. If you just say today, is Oregon going to win a title? No, they're not this season. Can that change? Definitely.
Totally.
If they come out and curb stomp Oregon State and go into Pasadena and beat the shit out of UCLA in 3 weeks, great. We're right back on track. We beat Michigan State, and then Ohio State's coming to town, and that's where we really find out what this team is.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not lost. I'm not just going to say it's all over. But 2 red flags in a row, and they're pretty glaring, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Now, Duck fans,
listen the fuck up.
Chill out. If I hear any more of you fucking idiots talking about how Will Stein sucks at calling plays or that Dan Lanning doesn't know what he's doing, y'all are going to get blocked. because you just clearly don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Everybody chill. This, like, Colorado and Oregon right now. Oregon right now and Colorado last year are prime examples of it's never as good as it seems and it's never as bad as it seems. Everybody chill the fuck out. I'm going to fucking lose it on Oregon Twitter.
People are talking about, like, firing Dan Lanning. That would be the biggest mistake in Oregon history.
You want to, like, lose me as quick as possible? Oregon will never lose me. I'm a fan for life. You want to piss me off as a fan immediately? Fire Dan Lanning. Yeah. I will be fucking livid pissed.
Yeah. Like, this is like one of those things where it's like, again, like the offensive line isn't clicking and there's not really much you can do about it short term, but there's a lot you can do about it long term. Right. And like I said, I think I said last episode, like my expectation was more like last year or 2 years into Dante Moore starting. Right. When you've built up a foundation, you have more of your recruits developed and ready to go. Like that felt more realistic to me. You know, obviously the hype around Dylan Gabriel was fun. It definitely made us uncomfortable. We talked about that of like, yeah, you know who else was like really hyped up was Dakota Prokop, right? Like, and Dylan's far better than any of that. Yeah. Like here's the thing, Dylan's not bad. And like he's not, but like obviously, like his completion percentage has been through the roof so far. I mean, he's got like 5 incompletions on the season. Total. Yeah, like he's like he's making the passes. They're just not. They're not deep. They're like he's missing. The problem is he's missing the deep shots.
The misses are bad misses.
Bad misses. Yeah. But yeah, I don't want to say I'm like totally out, right? Like I have adjusted my expectations. Like I don't think this is a championship team. I don't think that's going to be there. I've kind of adjusted to where I'm like, I don't see them winning the Big Ten. I could see them getting to the game still, right? Like, especially like, you know, like I said, like the offensive line is clearly uncomfortable with where they're playing. And if they can like start to settle in, if they get Matthew Bedford back, they can start to settle in. This team's better and they can definitely compete. But like, I don't see them beating Ohio State.
Not as we sit here today.
Not as we sit here today. And like, honestly, even like if Bedford comes back and the line does improve, that Ohio State team, they look real good. You know, Texas looks crazy good. You know, I'm just looking at these other teams going, they look more complete than Oregon. Even if Oregon can turn it around and like have a better season or look better, like these teams are looking more complete. Again, can Oregon pull a rabbit out of a hat here on this one? Right. If anybody in the country can get more out of an offensive line, it's A'lique Terry. All right. Like I believe in Coach Terry, but like, you know, I'm adjusting my expectations. So I'm not let down as a fan, right? Like, it's like, okay, like this you're not going to go into the Big Ten and win, right? That's not the worst thing. Ohio State's one of the best teams in the country. All right. Like, but you can get second or third still. Like, that's what kind of where I'm sitting, like second, third in the Big Ten, looking good, fringe playoff team, right? If they can, they still need to improve as we sit today. They're not a national championship team. Probably not a playoff team as we sit right now. But like, I see there's improvement. There is improvement week to week. So
here's the benefit for Ohio State. Yes, they've looked good against Akron and Western Michigan.
Yep. And
in both of those games, they did not, I guess in Western Michigan, they came out super hot. In that first game, they did not come out hot. Very slow to start. And before they play Oregon, they play Marshall, Michigan State, and Iowa. There's not a whole lot of testing going on there.
Yeah.
So this is a big if Oregon can start to figure it out on offense, right? So specifically those two teams that they play, the three teams that they play are not great on offense right now. Marshall's not good on offense. Michigan State's not good on offense, and Iowa is Iowa. All right. So if the O-line can get healthy if Alik Terry can pull a rabbit out of a fucking hat on offense, and if Dylan can settle the fuck down and get back to, we know he can throw the long ball. He did it all the time at Oklahoma.
He's just antsy. He's antsy.
If he can settle down and get into this, I'm not saying that's where I'm at.
You know what? You know what this feels like to me. You know what this feels like to me. Do you remember? I think it was 2012, possibly 2011. Oregon or Stanford at Oregon.
2012.
In 2012, where Oregon lost. I think they lost that game, but every play was one shoelace tackle away from breaking. That's what this team feels like as a whole, right? They're one shoelace tackle away from being great, right? And they're just not quite there. They can't get that. They can't get over that hump. And so if they can, to the races.
Right. And that's why it's like this week you're on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hostile as fuck in Reser Stadium on Saturday. If you can come out and show why you're a top 10 team in the country, then we're off and running.
Yeah, I mean, and I think with the next 3 games that they have before Ohio State, they have those opportunities there. Like, these are 3 growth games that are going to challenge you in different ways. And if, like you guys said, if they can grow, especially that offensive line, they're going to shore up some things that hosting Ohio State will be a hell of a, kind of a coming out party after 5, interesting games to start the season. So, this first one is Oregon State on the road, because I just never know what's going to happen. That place is hostile, and they love to hate.
Extra hostile.
And so,
yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, the defense is going to eat these next 3 games, I think. Like, the defense is going to fucking roll. Oregon State can give up points. We saw it last year, and the defense is worse than they were last year. So this needs to be a big step forward this week. UCLA, I don't know what to think of that Hawaii game, but I don't think UCLA is any good at all. So that game needs to be, that game specifically, and the Michigan State both need to be, these are statement wins for me to think that we even have a shot against Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out. I'm not going to say it's all over, but there's going to have to be some rabbits pulled out of hats, and they got to turn it around and do it quickly.
And they need to carry the ball all the way to the fucking end zone.
Yeah. We don't need to give anyone that Utah jump of enthusiasm.
Like Kalen Clay bullshit.
Especially a team that has one of the most famous versions of that idiotic play.
Yeah.
Almost did it in the national championship against Ohio State. I don't know if you guys remember that play. Real fucking close. Keenan Lowe dropping the ball on the goal line. And then this one was a fumble. What everybody doesn't show when it comes to that play is that Oregon just picked the ball up in the end zone.
Yeah, immediately picked it up. Noah Whittington doesn't have the touchdown.
No.
He's
not on his stat sheet.
It is not on his stat sheet.
Well, and if you watch the broadcast too, whoever number 26 is, like, you can see him like do that quick stutter step, like, oh nope, got to pick that up. Like, let me just make sure.
He's the hero, man. I don't even know who that is. He's
no, it's a name. It's a name we know. I'm trying to remember who it is. Shoot.
Well, let me just go to the box score or the recap.
Yeah, right. That's probably the easiest way to do this. The name we know. I'm just trying to remember who it was.
This is some good viewing and listening.
I know, right?
Now.
Scoring summary.
Scoring summary. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we can continue on. Was it Jaden Lamar? It was Jaden Lamar. Backup running back, Jaden Lamar.
It does say Tez Johnson, 80. Oh, no.
No, that was his kick return. It was Jaden Lamar who picked it up.
0-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yep, it's Jalen Lamar. I was like, it's a name we know. It's not some no name on
the number because he was number 7 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Number now. Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. Yep. Move on to week 3. Both of my teams have their state rival coming up this week, so that sucks for me.
Yes.
Let's get into some picks. Just going to jump right into this. We're going to start with the Big Ten as we always do. Then we'll get into the Colorado game, and then we'll talk about some of the other highlighted matchups throughout the country. Starting with Alabama traveling to Wisconsin. What a fucking wow.
Hell yeah, dude.
Good shit.
That Camp Randall's going to be bumping, dude.
Yeah, dude. Alabama's a 16-point favorite. I have Bama winning. I think this is going to be close at halftime, and Bama just out-talents Wisconsin in the second half and pulls away and covers that spread.
That is my exact thought. I think Wisconsin could even go into halftime winning this game. Camp Randall, but once that kind of dies out, that third quarter is going to be key. I think Alabama kind of breaks away in the third quarter and covers the spread.
Yeah, Bama's going to Bama.
Bama's going to Bama. Arkansas State at Michigan. Michigan, are they going to recover from that Texas loss? Arkansas State, not very good. Michigan's a 23-point favorite. I have them winning and covering.
Winning and covering.
Yeah, Arkansas State's going to be that sacrificial lamb this week.
Yeah.
Michigan's going to come back and do Michigan things.
Yeah, them big
in comparison, but yeah, it's not a good week to be Arkansas State.
Central Michigan at Illinois. Illinois is a 18.5-point favorite. Unfortunately, after 3 weeks, Illinois is going to be halfway to a slap in the face. And out of pure spite, I think Central Michigan is going to beat the spread. Just so I have some semblance of, I don't even know. That's not even like a...
I'm riding. I'm letting it ride, baby. Illinois all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see this slap in the face so bad.
Oh, you're going to. You're probably going to see it by the time we're in Wisconsin. Like, the season's not even be over.
I'm really excited to be able to build that pre-show clip starting from the Illinois is not going to do anything.
Really, like you don't
slap
do any
in the face
pre-show clips for any other episode.
And this is going to be the runner for the show. Like, just it'll be a 30-second clip of all the stupid shit that we say, and just it'll always be, you'll know, because when you hear the sound of you getting slapped, that's when we're live. Like, that'll be.
Guys, we're talking about the too sure-handed right now. I don't want to do that.
I hate it here.
I hate my friends.
No, as soon as they beat Kansas, I was like, fuck. I am fuck. All right. You know what? We'll just do it now. Oregon going to Oregon State. Oregon is a 16.5-point favorite. That feels terrifying with how the first 2 games have gone. I initially wrote Oregon and Oregon covering. I am second guessing the fuck out of that right now, but I'm rolling with it. Ducks big.
Yeah. I'm going to go Oregon to cover. Now while Oregon State does run the ball very well, they don't have Ashton Jeanty. They've gone against pretty bad rushing defenses.
Not pretty bad, really
bad rushing defenses. I have Oregon kind of shutting them down. I don't necessarily think Oregon's going to score a ton, because I think Oregon State's defense is actually pretty decent this year. But I don't think they're going to score very well against this defense in Oregon. So I got Oregon covering.
Ducks by 50.
Wow.
Ducks by 50.
Ducks by a milli, baby.
Ducks by a milli.
Notre Dame at Purdue. Can Notre Dame bounce back from that embarrassing home loss to Northern Illinois? Notre Dame's a 9.5-point favorite. I say yes. They bounce back. I think Purdue looks improved this season. They look better than I thought they would through 2 weeks. But I think Notre Dame, like you talk about being on the wrong end of a pissed off football team, I think that's going to be Purdue.
Yep, that's kind of where I'm at too. Notre Dame, like they're not a bad team. They laid an egg last week. I think they're going to come out pissed the fuck off, and they're just going to take it out on Purdue. Hudson Card looks great, but I think it's going to be a steamroll for Notre Dame.
I think Notre Dame's going to win. I think Purdue hangs, or at least gets a little bit ground towards the end of the fourth quarter. And I like them only by 3, though.
Okay.
Prairie View A&M.
There we go.
There we go. The big time game.
State, we're changing our default no spread to be 40.5 instead of 48.5 because Eli wants to keep it interesting. I have Michigan State winning this game, but Prairie View A&M, wherever the fuck they are, covering.
Same.
Or beating the spread. Sorry.
Yeah. Again, it's like one of those things where it's like, like this game's gonna be in hand early enough that they should.
Gross. Yeah.
They'll have backups in, and it's not going to get to 40 plus.
I will not be tuning into this football game. Let's put it
I
that
will
way.
not. I will check the scores later.
Yeah, I will be upset if this has a spot on my multi-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys.
Cool. Nevada at Minnesota. Minnesota is a 17.5-point favorite at home. Nevada, not great. I'm going to take the Gophs.
Go Gophs.
Go Gophs.
Go Gophs. Apple Cup. What a weird fucking, like, middle of September, we got the Apple Cup and the Civil War going on.
Same week, too. Rivalry week, baby.
Don't love that. But Washington, they're playing at whatever the Seahawks stadium name is anymore. I forget what they call it now. Lumen Field. I know what I wrote down first. Washington State looks good. So what I wrote down first was UW to win and Washington State to cover. So like a 3-point win type thing. I think if this was at Husky Stadium, which I thought when I initially did this, I would stick to that. But I'm going to change it. Washington State to win, and maybe convincingly.
Yeah, I think I have Washington State winning flat out. And I think it's going to be it's a rivalry game, so it's going to be closer than it probably should be, but I could see Washington State pulling this one pretty far.
Yeah,
and we're just hoping for a drubbing.
I'm good. I'm good with one of the Pac-2 winning this week.
Yeah.
If both win this week,
yikes.
Yeah. That's going to be real bad for us. Troy at Iowa. Iowa is a 23-point favorite. Oh my God. Did that change? Have they been a 23-point favorite?
It was like 22.5 earlier.
Oh my God. Iowa to cover scarily.
Okay. I have Iowa, but Troy covering. Gut feeling.
I got Iowa just all out.
Iowa all out.
All out.
First Big Ten matchup for UCLA. Indiana travels to Pasadena. The only tape we have on UCLA is them sneaking away with a win against Hawaii. I'm taking the Hoosiers to go down to LA and get the dub. Oh, and cover.
Me too.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm gonna change my Iowa pick. I'm gonna do Iowa all the way.
Iowa all the way. I like it. Let's see. Northern Iowa at Nebraska. This is another no-line game. So Nebraska is a 40.5 point favorite in our spreadsheet. I've got Nebraska winning, Northern Iowa beating the spread.
Same.
And that's not a knock on Nebraska. Like I said, I expect them to be a top 10 team going into Columbus.
Yep.
So
it's just a big spread that has the thing about it. This is like a crapshoot because you're like, are they putting in their backups who can't do anything, or are they putting in backups who like still rake? Like, we don't know.
I think we know the backups at Nebraska don't rake.
You're probably right. Yeah. You know what? Fair
play. Eastern Illinois at Northwestern, another no spread game. So we got 40.5 Northwestern wins. Eastern Illinois beats the spread.
Same.
You're going to very rarely find us picking a 40-plus point win. Pretty rare. I did it week 1, Oregon, Idaho, and I regret the fuck out of it at this point. Maryland at Virginia. Maryland is a 2.5 point favorite. That seems crazy low to me. This was almost my best bet. I got Maryland covering, and probably fairly convincingly.
Yeah, I mean, I got the same thing. I think Maryland's pretty good. And you know, I don't really see it with Virginia. I know they've had some pretty decent games, but I don't know. I think Maryland's just a better team overall. Although that Michigan State loss does look pretty bad.
It looks bad, no doubt.
Terps by 10.
Terps by 10.
I like 10. I think 10 feels good.
Yeah, that feels better.
All right, that's it for the Big Ten. Let's move into the non-Big Ten. Colorado at Colorado State. We got the Rocky Mountain Showdown. This is happening in Fort Collins for the first time in like 30 years. It's been a long time since the Buffaloes have gone up to Fort Collins. Spread is CU -7. I've got CU and CU covering. I think the tape's out on Colorado State at this point. It's pretty much the same team as last year. The Colorado defense showed me enough in the second half of that Nebraska game to think that the talent on offense is going to win out. I've got CU by 10-17, 2 or low 3 score win.
Yeah, I was going to pick CSU against the spread here. I was going to do that. And then those CSU guys came out and were like, how many Instagram followers are going to take to get a win, or whatever the fuck they were saying this week. And I was like, that poster material, that you just fucked yourselves, boys. I don't know if you saw that, but it was the same guys who were talking about, we didn't take $600,000 to come back and win championships at Colorado State. These get blown out by Texas. That's real championships there, buds. But the fact that they can't stop running their mouths outside and like giving Shedeur and Travis Hunter poster board material,
crazy,
especially after the way they lost last year, like how CU barely scratched that out last year. I think they want to make a statement. I have Colorado by probably more than 17. I think Colorado big.
I hope that's right. That would be great for me.
I mean, nobody on CSU can cover Travis Hunter.
Nope.
Or Jimmy Horn.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Travis Hunter was out the second half of that CSU game because he got fucking assaulted on the sideline.
Yeah.
I got CU. And I'm in my own betting pool. I'm going to do an adjusted spread at CU -14.
Yeah, I like a 2-3 score win. 4 would be great. Like, just kind of shut them the fuck up forever. The problem, here's the sucky part for this one is, like, I don't know when this one's on the schedule again for CU. I don't think it is, and same with Nebraska. So, like, I think I just want a statement here out of one of these two. All right. Arizona at Kansas State. Arizona opens up their Big 12 slate. This is a tough matchup for them to start with. There aren't a ton of good teams in the Big 12. Kansas State is one of them. Kansas State kind of escaped Tulane last week, but Tulane's a really good football team. I think people forget that.
And Arizona's looked pretty bad.
And Arizona's looked mid at best.
Well, I mean, their offense fine. Like Fafita and McMillan are they're them, but it's kind of the same as Colorado right now.
I mean, they only put up 22 against Northern Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, They got these 2 studs, but their defense is fucking awful.
Yeah, their defense is trash, absolute trash, which is crazy because they were so good last year on defense.
Yeah.
Kansas State's a 7-point favorite. I got the Wild. That doesn't work. I like the Purple Wildcats, Kansas State, to win and cover.
Yeah, same.
LSU at South Carolina. Both these teams open up their SEC slate. LSU's a 7-point favorite. I begrudgingly am picking LSU to win and cover this.
Yeah, watching Brian Kelly have like fucking full meltdowns every week has been the joy of my life.
Every week, man.
He's just having full blown
losing his fucking mind.
He's losing. The pressure's getting to him, man.
100%.
I like LSU to win and cover in here. I hope they lose.
Me too. I
am rooting for South Carolina. I think LSU pulls out the win and covers.
Yeah, I agree. Sure.
A lot of agreeing going on. Boston College at Missouri.
I was like looking down the sheet like, God, we all kind of pick the same.
Boston College at Missouri. Boston College is kind of a darling right now, but like
it is the fakest 25 rank ever.
Oh my God. It's so bad.
They shouldn't be ranked at all.
No, Florida, they have a top 10 win. Give me a fucking break. What a joke.
Terrible Florida State team.
Mizzou minus 16. I got Mizzou big in this. Big.
I have Mizzou big as well.
Yeah, I'd say Mizzou probably by 24.
Tulane at Oklahoma.
So just real quick, Boston College, they're number 20. What are they? 25, right?
Yeah,
right now. 25 in the country.
24.
They haven't played 24, and they haven't played a team that's won a game yet.
Yeah, I mean they played Duquesne and won 56-0, but it's Duquesne.
Yeah, they played Missouri State, who hasn't won.
Right, and Missouri's probably going to be in the playoff. So like they're I think they're going to get fucking rocked.
I think this was close to my best bet.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to do it and jinx Mizzou.
I struggle with best bets being double digits. Those scare me a lot. Tulane at Oklahoma. I just kind of mentioned Tulane being a really good football team. They hung with Kansas State. Oklahoma has struggled a little bit to start this season. I'm picking Oklahoma to win at home, but Tulane's going to beat the spread.
Same.
I think Oklahoma's going to win. I think they're going to figure it out. And I do like that spread at 13, though. Like I think that's a good.
It's a good number.
It's a good number because I think 14-17 is within the realm if Oklahoma can kind of calm down and figure it out. So I picked them to cover, but I would not be surprised if it's a 10 or 13 point or So I think that'll be a fun one to watch. I'm gonna watch that game.
Texas A&M at Florida. Talk about the gauntlet that Florida is going through this season. It just doesn't get any easier. Both of these teams with fairly disappointing losses to start the season. Who's going to turn it around? Texas A&M is a 3-point favorite on the road. This just feels like one of those games that's going to be really gross, like all the way through. Just like sloppy, grody-ness football. I think Florida's going to win by like 1.
So you have to change your spread pick then. Because you picked Texas to cover.
Oh, yeah. No,
I have Florida kind of big in this. Lagway is like really starting to find his stride, I think, as a quarterback. I have not seen like Wegman at the Texas A&M looks scattered, doesn't look good. I think Florida is kind of on the trending up, and A&M's kind of trending the way they normally do, which is not as good as they should be. Mike Elko, as great of a coach he is, we're seeing that it's not as plug and play as we thought it might be. I have Florida kind of big in this one.
Did Lagway play last week? I admittedly did not watch Florida and one lick last week.
Yeah, he did. He threw for like 400 yards or something like that.
Ooh, that makes me more confident in my pick than I was.
Yeah, I think Florida's going to bounce back. This game being in the swamp is good for them. And I'm with you, Eli. I think this is going to be a stomping.
I don't know about a stomping, but it's not going to be 1 point, like I said. I mean, totally Lagway thing.
If they win by 17, I think that's pretty fair stomping for them at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lagway threw for 456 yards.
Jesus Christ. That's crazy. Was it Samford
I mean, it's Samford, so like grain of salt here. But like
450 yards is 450 yards.
450 yards is a lot, and it's also like it's a good groove setter, right? Like that's what you want when you play Samford, is you want your team to warm up like that and really find their groove and their timing.
I also like there's just something about Texas A&M falling flat on their face year after year that is just satisfying.
Yeah.
It's like you like talk about Dylan Raiola being the cringiest quarterback right now. That is the cringiest team, fan base, whatever you want to call it. It's just gross. West Virginia at Pittsburgh. Got a Big 12 versus ACC matchup here. West Virginia is a 1.5 point favorite. This is going to be a good football game. Again, I'm going to stick to my guns in close football games that I think are a relative coin flip. I'm going to go with the home team. I'm sticking with Pitt. But my confidence in this one is 50-50.
Yeah. It's been no secret that I've been pretty high on West Virginia since the beginning, since the preview. I still like them. I still think they're a good team, even after that Penn State loss where they got pretty badly beat. They got waxed. And I'm like a little bit lower on Pitt, I think, than a lot of people. So I got West Virginia in this one.
Yeah, I'm going with Pitt because it's a coin flip at home.
And you're the coach, so you have to.
I am the coach in their 25 season and lost to West Virginia, so I need it to happen this year.
Georgia at Kentucky.
Georgia big.
Kentucky looked bad. Yeah, Georgia big.
Georgia big.
UCF at TCU. UCF is a 1 point favorite in this game. Another total coin toss. I'm going to go with my normal coin toss, and that is the home team, TCU. I don't know in this one, honestly. So I'm going with the Horny Toads.
Yeah, I mean, KJ Jefferson's looked pretty shaky so far this year. I think this is the game that he can come back and figure it out. I think UCF has a better roster than TCU overall.
I think that's true.
And so I think if KJ Jefferson can kind of find his stride, not get rattled, I think UCF by probably 10 would be my number.
I gotta take my horn frogs. Gotta take them. gotta take them. got my little UCF helmet up here. We're doing it, and I mean it's we'll win by 2. It's okay.
There you go. All right, and our best bets of the week. I couldn't find one, so I went chalk with the Iowa under.
Default death taxes and Iowa under.
I mean, Cameron has to bet the Iowa over, which is ouch.
I mean, what is the over under right now?
Let's look.
It's like 39, I think.
Fuck. Dude, that's not great.
39.5.
Oh. I was really hoping to be something like 28.5.
If it makes you feel any better, they still wouldn't have got that last week when they were playing Iowa State.
Yeah, well, I already lost your best bet last week. So it resets how much I have to bet. I got to carry some into Eli's, but we'll let it ride. This is fun. Eli freeze.
Eli froze.
Eli froze.
Gun up.
Fantastic. Eli froze in the finger guns.
And we don't get to hear his best bet. In case he can't make it back, Eli's best bet is Vandy minus 10.5.
There he is. There's our guy.
So this week, I've decided to curse Vanderbilt. And they've looked great this year so far. That win over Virginia Tech was a really good win, and they looked solid while doing it. I didn't watch their game against Alcorn State, but they beat them 55-0. I like Vanderbilt minus 10.5 against.
I mean, that's a pretty solid bet, which means that they're going to lose.
Which means they're going to like straight up money line lose.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Sorry, Vandy.
Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck. All right. We did it.
That's it. That's what we got. That's all the fun that I can
I think it's your buzzer beater this week, Jamie.
Didn't I do it last week?
Nope, I did.
Balls. All right.
Listener, viewer, we love you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys interacting and listening and just being around while we just yak about sports. Appreciate it. Thanks to Zeta June for letting us use your music as our outro. That's pretty dope. If you're still listening, go check out Zeta June. They're awesome. Vibey, cool music. Thanks, super producer Cameron. We appreciate you helping out with the stream and making it look good and chiming in on F1 and letting me interrupt you when we do F1. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, but I had a great line for the scene.
Oh, fuck, that was so
I started
good.
that one off strong.
That was so
sure.
That was good. That was good. So say bye, Cameron.
You're clipping that for sure.
Bye, Cameron. Yeah.
Fucking doesn't clip any of our shit. It clips his
No,
own.
it doesn't clip shit until he says something.
Yeah. Show business, baby.
With that, Jamie, hit us with your buzzer beater.
Buzzer beater for the week is it's rivalry week, baby. Sko Ducks, Sko Buffs.
Deuces.
Fire.